Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about lokas. So what are lokas? Now, in some of my previous videos, I've discussed different levels of creation that you experience, or that I experience at the time of enlightenment, or at other times. So, um, what are lokas basically? Well, lokas, you can research what you can find on that, and that'll give you a lot of good information to start. What I'm going to say in this video is that lokas are intertwined. Okay. So lokas are different ways of seeing things, or different perceptions, or different levels of existence, and all of those at the same time. Okay. So what lokas, for example, how do lokas kind of interact? And you have the loka, for example, where you see the fairy kingdom, where you have the king in the center of the kingdom, right? Who's the energy center? Like living beings are energy centers, right? Um, when you see the human shape, for example, you know, humanoid shape, right? An energy center. So then you have embodiment, right? But let's not go there right now. So what do we have? We have different lokas that are interconnecting one with the other, right? Interacting one with the other. What do you do in a loka? You basically, what the work that takes place is that fundamental work, which is the calculation of the equation of the Kalachakra. And here making a differentiation between the Kalachakra mandala, sorry, which has a systems view. So a systems view is not necessarily the Kalachakra view. The Kalachakra view is a view of the Kalachakra as a whole and at one level, and the systems view, or multiple systems view, because you get multiple systems views when you become enlightened. You're basically seeing the systems interacting with each other within those tunnels. So different levels of views, right? Different levels of enlightenment. So you're basically enlightenment. You're kind of like building your way up, you know. So lokas, yeah. So basically, you have that concept of, for example, you exist in other lokas as well. Okay. And it's not that that you exist as a different person. It's you exist as the same being. Okay. And then you have different types of lokas. You have lokas that are related to embodiment. So lokas, for example, where you have a body. And then lokas where you're getting some kind of system view, right? Where you're not in body. Now we're not getting into paradise and all that stuff. That exists within the system as well, but we're talking about lokas right now. Okay. So lokas, in a way, how to put this? You know, um, lokas of the embodiment are essentially the foundation, and then you have lokas outside of embodiment, which are the source. Interesting. You have the foundation and the source, both, could be thought to be the same thing. And that's basically why I say it like that. So you have the lokas, for example. Let's just take the systems view loka. Okay. What are they working on, all these systems? So they're working on basically doing all the calculations of information within this equation that governs time and space, and whose end result is to know the truth of everything, right? Vishnu, Vinu, full sight, full understanding, to be everywhere, to see everything. That's the purpose. So you have these lokas basically where all the work is taking place, life, if you want, within the loka, okay, or existence within the loka. And it's basically the equation that's taking place. But if you look from one loka, in the embodiment lokas, You exist in all these lokas at the same time. So think parallel dimensions. Okay, you exist, but you're existing at the same place. So it's think like, put on a filter on your eyes and you see the other loka. Put on a filter, you see the other loka. Okay, that's the way to see it. So those are the embodiment lokas. Then you have the lokas where you have no body. Okay, where you're seeing different perceptions and way of seeing things, of which are, and one of those is the system view that you can see when you look at the tunnel and the square, which is a container moving through the tunnel, and the colors, which are the pathways, the permissions for different developments, programs, as they move through those tunnels and do those calculations in that work. That's the systems view. Now, interestingly enough, what is the link between lokas that are of embodiment and lokas that are not of embodiment? Okay, and now we're not talking about embodiment during life and embodiment after life. I'm talking about lokas that are simultaneous, but some of them are in body and some are not in body. And maybe I'll get back to that other aspect again as well. So, for example, when you look at the systems view, what you're seeing is containers basically that contain information or other containers, all moving through these lokas. And there are different system views. One of them, you're like in a wind tunnel and you're moving through these doors which have flags on them, and these flags basically allow for access to that door if you want, where you can go, so where you can develop if you want, or move information and work out of, you know. And then you have different colors associated to the flags on those doors. So that's one of the system views. Okay, so you're not a human. You're when you experience it, you're a system in a container moving through that wind tunnel. Okay, and you have that door. Now that's one of the views. Now you have the other view, which is more like a top view, right? A grid system view, almost like a traffic view, you know. So that then you have that one, and then you have that one, which is the small one, and then you have the big one. Anyways, you have different views. So in locuts, for example, the system, what are they doing, right? Well, they're doing one thing that's very similar to all the other locuts, trying to make life better. Okay, so that's what you want to do. That's what people are working on their local technology, new technology, right, to make things easier. Think about it like as a human looking now. If you had lived years before, you would have lived, for example, in a very simple way, not have basic amenities that we consider essential today. Technology and economic development, right, and production, right, essentially.